All right, Flirty, welcome back to this practice as it's going to get a little interesting for this one. Do a handstand. Just kidding. We will be doing none of that. In fact, we will barely be getting off the mat at all. So, you know the drill. This is what you're going to do, or if this is the first one you're starting with, all you're going to need is your mat today. Keep a couple pillows close by. We may or may not use them depending. I think I'll offer one cue with a pillow or definitely a blanket. Definitely grab a blanket. We're going to be getting on our knees in a little bit. So if you have any knee tenderness, something like that, if you don't have a blanket nearby, it's okay. I'll cue. We can always double up the mat here or put a little bit of a roll in it like that for some extra knee support. Lots of options, but I think a blanket will serve you well today as we focus on the throat. On the Shuddha today and speaking your truth, we're going to be doing some interesting things you maybe haven't done before. You may feel a little bit silly doing them, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to be doing them with you. All right, no more hints, no more spoilers. To get started, go ahead, come on to your mat here, and we're going to be reclining right on down to our backs. So make your way there. Give yourself the support you need. As you arrive on your back body, go ahead and take a big good morning stretch here that looks like flexing the toes in front of you, the arms extend behind you, getting long, stretching all the way through the body and exhaling, letting it all go. One more time. Inhale to get long, big good morning stretch, and exhale through the mouth. Inhaling to get long, this time tensing all the muscles, squeezing the thighs, the hands, getting tight, tight, tight. And exhale. Let it all go. Now bring your hands down beside you, palms facing the ceiling. Allow the feet to rotate to the edges of the mat. Just getting rather limp here. Taking a few rounds of breath at your pace to arrive in this practice today, allowing your mat to support you, my words, my voice to guide you, and trust that you are exactly where you need to be. A couple more rounds of breath. And on your next inhale, bring your right knee into chest, placing your hands atop that right shin. And exhale here, finding a gentle compression of that right hip flexor. We'll be here for a couple of breaths, 2 or 3 or so. I'll give you some options here. You can gently open that right hip out to the side as perhaps the left hand falls open beside you now. A little bit of a twist. You can take some gentle circles with that right ankle, moving in one direction and then switching the direction of those ankle circles, or simply finding stillness here. When that feels complete, inhale to get long on your mat. Good morning stretch. And on your exhale, that left knee comes to the chest. Place your hands atop the left shin. And on your exhale, start to find any movement here that may feel good in your left hip flexor, flexing through those left toes, or simply finding stillness. Inhale now to get long. Good morning stretch. Ooh, taking up all the space, flexing through the fingers, through the toes. And on your exhale, both knees come to the chest. Hands meet atop those shins, keeping the shoulders, the head on the mat. Taking this cannonball shape. And then from here, swaying back and forth a little bit, maybe making some small circles with the knees, giving that low back, that sacrum, bit of a massage. Inhale to get long on your mat one more time. And on your exhale, knees to chest, finding that cannonball shape again. As we rock and roll forward now, we're coming up into a seated position. Please offer yourself any support you may need with your hands. You can also roll off to one side, completely an option. As we arrive here in seated pose, Sukhasana, but only for a moment, as now the palms come out in front of us, untucking those toes. Let me position myself here on the mat. There we go, arriving in tabletop. So from here, let's build our tabletop, really pressing both palms into the mat evenly here. We have our wrists, our elbows, our shoulders in alignment. What I often find is sometimes we have a tendency to lean forward. This is going to place unnecessary pressure on the wrist. Shift the body weight back just a little bit. Keeping the back, the spine nice and straight, taking a glance back at both feet to see that they are parallel rather than opening off to the sides of the mat, bringing them parallel to one another. Knees are about hip distance apart. And there we are, neutral tabletop pose. On an inhale, we're going to drop the belly. The gaze goes up to the ceiling for cow pose. On your exhale, pressing into the mat, rounding the back now, arriving in our cat pose. Inhale to come forward into your cow. Maybe take a little organic movement. I know that feels good for me a lot of the time. Exhale, pushing back into cat pose. Inhale into cow. And listen for change here as you exhale. Stick out the tongue and exhale through the mouth. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale in the same way. This is a lion's breath, flirty. Two more rounds of cat-cow. Inhale to come forward. Take that gaze up to the ceiling. Exhale. One more time. Inhale into cow pose. Exhale, stick out that tongue. Maybe make a bit of a roar this time. Inhale to arrive in neutral tabletop pose. Here we are. From here, go ahead, take it back into that wide-legged child's pose. Toes touch, knees apart, bringing the third eye, midpoint of the brow to the mat. Arms in front of you. Take 3 to 4 breaths here in your child's pose. You can return to a normal breath. Inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Now pressing your palms into the mat. If they were out in front of you, gently walking them back towards your body to bring ourselves back upright. Untucking the feet here, the toes, arriving in a bit of a tabletop-like position as we move into our next pose for this practice, which is camel. Camel pose, yes, that's what we're going to do. So I want to give you that protection for your knees here, as we'll be on your knees for just a few moments. You can double up your mat like this to give yourself that extra support for your knees. If you have a folded blanket, you can place that under your knees as well. Both fantastic options. As we continue working with that lion's breath a little bit more, really clearing out stuck, stagnant energy here in Vishuddha and the throat so that we can really tap into our full expression of our voice. All these practices are integrated with one another depending on which order you have chosen to do them. You're mixing and matching, you're going to this one and that one, maybe you have a favorite. They are all intended to work together as a comprehensive, a complete practice that I hope will really bring you lots more confidence, ease, joy, happiness, love, all the things in your dating life. All right, so for camel pose, give yourself that support for the knees here. And what we're going to do is tuck the toes under, so you see coming up onto the tips of the toes here, as we just shift the body weight back onto the heels like so. And then we're going to come upright, all right? So really engaging the quads here. If it's more comfortable for you to leave the toes untucked, please do that. So from here, we're going to give ourselves the support of our hands here on our low back, just atop the tailbone, as we gently tilt the head back. And bring the chin back forward. Do that one more time. You can breathe normally here. Just getting comfortable with the motion. Let's do that one more. And give ourselves a little bit of a break here, just coming down into this hero's pose. Placing the palms atop the thighs here. You can gently close the eyes. Taking a couple rounds of breath. All right, shifting back, getting in position for our camel, and here we go. Now we're going to bring in that lion's breath here. Okay, so take an inhale through the nose, and as you tilt the chin back, exhale through the mouth. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, lion's breath, stick that tongue out. Inhale, gaze comes back forward. Exhale. Inhale back forward. And exhale, maybe you make a bit of a roar this time. Inhale to come forward. Exhale, lion's breath. Inhale back forward. Come on down. Shift yourself into that hero's pose, giving the quads a bit of a break, placing the palms atop the thighs. Gaze is neutral. Eyes can gently close here. Camel pose can be very invigorating, as it truly is an opener of the throat and of the heart as well. Take a few rounds of breath here to settle. we're going to shift back into camel pose for one more round. We will do 5 breath cycles here. Get yourself into position. Find that placement of your hands. Take an inhale here. And exhale. Find your lion's breath, opening up Vishuddha. Inhale, gaze comes forward. Exhale. Inhale, forward. Exhale, let it all go. Few more rounds. Inhale, your gaze comes forward. Exhale. Inhale forward. Exhale. All right, come on down. Hero's pose. One final time. And find the tops of the thighs. Gently close the eyes. A few rounds of breath here to integrate, to settle. And from here, we'll conclude in Sukhasana, easy seated pose today. Place the palms on either side of you just for support. As you untuck the legs, bring them out in front of you, cross them in any which way you would like. Place the palms on the tops of the thighs here, gently over the knees. Inhale to come forward. I just want us to do a few hip circles, just to circulate a lot of that energy, clear out perhaps any more stuck energy that is residing within us. I'm sure there's more, Lord knows. There's more in me. That's why we do this practice. All right, next time you arrive back at center, go ahead, switch the direction of your hip circles. Take one more. All right, arriving back at center on an inhale, extend the arms overhead, exhale, palms down through heart center. Always like to end this way. Shifting the palms back and forth a little bit, creating some energy. Allow them to fall open now on your lap as we conclude today's practice with a community inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth one more time. Inhaling through the nose. Sealing the lips, exhaling through the nose. Bring the palms to touch now. Palms to that third eye point for clear and kind thoughts. To the lips, clear and kind communication. To the heart for an open and loving heart. And now, just placing the hands over the throat here, gently over Vishuddha, just thanking ourselves and our bodies for carrying us through this practice, feeling the vibration of our voice here in this moment, and thanking our voices for being there for us, even when it hasn't felt like it, even when it's felt like our voice hasn't been accessible or has perhaps even let us down. It's there. It's there. All right, flirty. Hands fall open beside you now. Thank you so much for joining me in today's practice, and I'll see you in the next one. Namaste.